Hey everyone, it is your favorite CEO, Miss Flo, and we are back with another episode on Neon Mike, where the conversation just glows. We are here on a wonderful Sunday morning at AwesomeCon, the last day of AwesomeCon, and things are a little bit calmer, so I actually have a chance to talk to some amazing authors that are in the building. Right now, I am with...
Hi, I'm Andrea Rose Washington.
And just hearing like a prior conversation, you are actually from the DMV, born and raised.
Born and raised.
So like, how does it feel to really be selling your story, basically, essentially, to your community?
It's honestly amazing. All of my stories, being in the DMV, first of all, has been a unique experience. Getting to grow up here in the melting pot of just so many things that are happening around the world also take place here. It's a unique, loving, fun experience. But writing my stories and selling it to people who I could have met at the grocery store, people I might have went to school with, people I saw just passing on the street, maybe honk my horn at. It's an amazing experience. And then one of my stories is also based in DC, so it was great to write a story based off of me walking to work one day and realizing there's a whole world, like I've lived here my entire life, but there's a whole world that I've never seen before, and I wonder what that's like.
I mean, that's pretty fair, because like if you grew up in the DMV, you're gonna have stories.
Stories.
It's like there's so many things. Like I could probably write a story about what's going on in the X2. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you bump into so many like interesting characters. So you have like plenty of inspiration, and it looks like you have, because you have several different books here.
Yes.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing professionally for about 7 to 8 years. My first book, which is Adelathea, took about 5 years to figure out how to do the whole process for. But after that, I've sort of just written a book maybe once every year. But it's, yeah.
Wait, once every year?
Once every year.
That's impressive, because we always hear like, we don't want to rush the creative process. We always want our creators to like, you know what I mean, take their time, get the story right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We don't really, we could tell when something's been rushed. Mm-hmm. But for you to write a book every year and publish, like, that's amazing.
It is amazing. I also require sleep. But it only really works after I figured out how writing worked for me. A lot of authors, it takes a couple years to figure out what your flow is. Do you plan, or do you write off the seat of your pants? Like, what type of person and what environment do you need to write in? And once I figured that out after writing my first book, it all fell into place after that.
Right. So once you know your method, because some people do like outline, I know people will still like do character design, world building. You know what I mean? I've talked to various authors that are like in various stages, but it's like once you find the method that works for you, it's just like, well, there's nothing really holding you back.
Nothing.
So that's
except
awesome.
Time and sleep.
Yeah. That's like, when do you sleep? Because
I try to sleep 8 hours a night. That doesn't always work, because sometimes you have that idea that says you will not get any rest until you put me on paper, and then I have to listen to that, and I'm up writing. Coffee is my friend.
Mine too. I could totally understand. But like I said, like you have several different books here. So if you could kind of like take us through your journey and kind of give us like a synopsis of like each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one is my newest book that just came out in October. It's called Scenes Out of Place. It's a collection of short stories, everything from dragons reawakening and reshaping the human race to surviving a zombie apocalypse. The first book I ever wrote that made me an author is Adelathea. It's about two best friends on the run from a magical hit squad for a secret Sasha doesn't know. And this is the story of her trying to save her family from a generational curse. The next one is Amatry's Magic. It's about Olivia London. It's based in DC. She's an unbound magical, and a cult is running amok, and she is trying to stop them before they kill anyone else she cares about.
Can I just say that I appreciate that you have a mystical world in DC?
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of times DC is the setting for like politics or mystery, but we don't really see like too much of a sci-fi element. Maybe like X-Files, somewhat, but
government conspiracies.
Yeah, but we don't get like the magic part. You know what I mean? And it's like there's black girl magic everywhere.
It is, and DC is a magical city because of so much that happens here. I just knew I had to incorporate magic into the city, and I would walk to work. I would pass Congress. I would pass different metro stations. I would pass the statues, and I would think, there's something here.
Yeah.
There's magic in this city. It's somewhere in the bones. It's in the history. So let's just bring it out in the forefront.
Very that. Very that.
And then my sci-fi one is Elendil. It's about Abriana. She finds herself on an alien planet in the middle of an intergalactic war, all because the mother who she thought abandoned her is really a general in an alien army. So now she has to help save a planet she never called home.
It's a lot of variety here. So it's like whether you're in the magic, whether you're in the space, whether you are, oh my God, like dragons, like, you know what I mean? Just, it seems like there's something here for everybody that is into the sci-fi genre. So it's just like you have a good mixed bag here. Which one has like been really grabbing most people's attention so far?
The one that most people gravitate to is Amatry's Magic. It's people, like you said, people don't really think of DC and magic, and that concept sort of like draws them in, because this is magic in the real world. You have people you work with who they never know magic ever exists. You're walking down the street and they don't see that whole restaurant that's only available for people who have magical blood inside of them. They don't see the class system that happens within the magical system. They don't see everything that is right in front of them, but they can't see because of the magic. And that draws people in, because you think, okay, I'm walking down the street, there could be a whole restaurant here, and this what looks like a warehouse that's closed is actually the most popular place in the magical world in DC. So,
oh wow, and I'd love to hear that. I was born and raised in DC, so I appreciate the shout out.
Thank you.
For sure. And how did you get into writing? Like, how did you like become an author?
I've always loved reading. It's been something that I got in trouble for a lot growing up. Late nights under the covers with a flashlight reading. I was that child. I was a child who read in school instead of doing her work. But I wanted to be in the forefront. I wanted the characters to look like me. I wanted to have a story where the main character was black for no other reason than black people exist. And I decided, well, it's not out there. I'm going to write it. I'm going to write the story that I want to read, because I'm not seeing myself. I'm not seeing my unique DMV experience in a book. And so I decided to start writing them.
And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times we complain that we don't see enough of ourselves in, sci-fi or like much media. But it's like, we can fix that by doing it ourselves. We don't have to wait for somebody else to write us. We can do that.
We can tell our own stories.
So who's your publisher? Or are you self-published, independent?
I am self-published.
Oh, wow.
It did take a lot of trial and error to figure out how to be an author. And there's nothing wrong with traditionally published. I just like having a little bit more control over every step, just to make sure I'm being authentic to myself. But I am self-published, so everything is available on my website.
What's your website?
arwbooks.com.
Nice. Very simple, to the point, easy to remember. And where can people find you on your socials?
So I am Andrea Rose Washington, or Andrea Rose Washington, or Andrea Rose W on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
While we still have it.
Yes.
Yeah. While we still have it. But it was a pleasure speaking with you today. I'm actually going to get two. So I want this one. I want Scenes Place for sure. Because the covers look amazing.
Thank you.
Who did the artwork?
So this one I did go through a company for Amatry's Magic, but Scenes Out of Place, one of my good friends, Jocelyn Short, she's an artist. She did this cover. It's me, it's smiling, and you have different elements coming out of my hair, because these are scenes that I just needed to get out of my head.
That's so cool. First of all, shout out to friends.
Yes.
Because they help you grow, build your, that's a good friend.
And Jocelyn Short is an amazing artist, and I asked her to do my cover, and she rocked out.
She did. She really did. So I'm getting 2 books today, and I hope that you guys will reach out and order one of these, or get them all. Get all the books, because it's if you want to see yourselves, that look like us, that be us, that are from the DMV, your voice is heard through here. So make sure that you reach out, support, and buy some books today.
Yes.
I mean, granted, AwesomeCon gonna be over by the time you see this,
but available online.
Yes. So make sure that you shop online and see how you guys glow from that conversation. I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Bye.